villages, towns that they've recaptured over the last few weeks, there are always mass graves uncovered.
Now we've got Askold Krushelnycky, the Times Ukrainian correspondent. Askold, can you kind of fill us in exactly on, because you're in Kyiv at the moment, I understand. Can you
Yes.
talk to us about what's been happening overnight in the latest offensive by Ukrainian forces?
Well, the Ukrainian forces are pressing on. I mean, it's now nearly a month since they started a surprise offensive in the northeast of the country, in the Kharkiv region. And people were predicting, and even Ukrainian leaders thought that they might have to pause to consolidate their gains. But I think there's been a combination of just Ukrainian forces gaining momentum and Russian collapse. All the weaknesses in the Russian army have been exposed, equipment, leadership, morale, and these have combined, along with Ukraine's increasing confidence, to just keep pushing the Russian forces back, especially in the east and the south of the country.
Now, you mentioned this Russian collapse. What are the Ukrainian forces finding when they retake these towns in the south and the east?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a grim pattern which has emerged when the Ukrainian forces recaptured the previously occupied areas of Kharkiv. They discovered graves, mass graves, some single graves, but in most places, villages, towns that they've recaptured over the last few weeks, there are always mass graves uncovered. Some of these may contain the bodies of people who've been killed because of military action, because of artillery shells, missiles exploding, which Ukrainians would still blame on the Russians, because they say if the Russians hadn't invaded, all of these people would be dead. But in all of these places, they also discover people with signs of torture or just obvious other signs of atrocities. I've seen them myself, bodies with people with their hands tied behind their backs. So this type of discovery is being made wherever the Russians are being pushed back.
Askold, in an interview with the BBC, President Zelensky has said that Russian officials have begun to prepare their society for the possible use of nuclear weapons. Yeah. How worried are Ukrainians about this?
Look, people are obviously talking about it. People are aware of this, and it's strange for me that discussions about a possible nuclear attack are now just as common as what the weather is today or expected to be. Of course, people are worried. Of course, people with families and kids are anxious. But I haven't seen any signs of mass panic. There isn't a drive for people to get out of the country. But this is something that people are talking about, even trying to work out where, if nuclear weapons are used, where would be the most likely first targets for the Russians.
Askold, thank you so much for joining us at the last minute this morning. Askold Krushelnycky, the Times correspondent in Kyiv. And like you were saying, no signs of panic in Kyiv at the moment.